नंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा सुभद्रा माई जय सुदर्शन जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे जय गौरनीताय जय गौरनीताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमं सर्वव्याजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ISKCON BBT फाउंडर आचार्य सेवर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमं सर्वव्याजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। रामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तनम की जय। युग धर्म हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gaura. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for assembling this morning. So we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam this morning. This is from 3rd canto, 27th chapter, and the verse number is 20. So we'll be reciting the verse first. Can someone repeat after me? Is it possible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Is someone going to share the screen for the verse? Hare Krishna.
Yes, for 1 minute.
Yeah. This is 3:27:20.
Will you please start reading? By the time I will share.
Sure, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. The verse is Kvachit tatvavamarshena.
Prabhu, we
Kvachit.
can't see
Yeah, only if you can see, I think you may be able to repeat. Okay, let me complete the verse, and then if it comes on the screen, then you can recite the verse, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah, I think now Prabhuji has shared the screen. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Kvachit tatvavamarshena.
Kvachit tvatvanamarshena
Nivrittam bhayamulbanam.
Nivrittam bhayamulbanam
Anivritta nimittatvat.
Anivritti nimittatva
Punah pratyavatisthate.
Punah pratyavatisthate. Hare Krishna.
Kvachit tatvavamarshena.
Kvachit tvatvanamarshena
Nivrittam bhayamulbanam.
Nivrittam bhayamulbanam
Anivritta nimittatvat.
Anivritta nimittatva
Punah pratyavatisthate.
Punah pratyavatisthate.
Last time. Kvachit tatvavamarshena.
Kvachit tatvavamarshena
Nivrittam bhayamulbanam.
Nivrittam bhayamulmanam
Anivritta nimittatvat.
Anivritta nimittatva
Punah pratyavatisthate.
Punah pratyavatisthate. Hare
We'll
Krishna.
see the synonyms. Kvachit, in a certain case. Tattva, the fundamental principles. Avamarshena, by reflecting upon. Nivrittam, avoided. Bhayam, fear. Ulbanam, great. Anivritta, not ceased. Nimittatvat, since the cause. Punaha, again. Pratyavatisthate, it appears. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The translation is like this. Even if the great fear of bondage is avoided by mental speculation and inquiry into the fundamental principles, it may still appear again, since its cause has not ceased. Purport. Material bondage is caused by putting oneself under the control of matter because of the false ego of lording it over material nature. Bhagavad Gita 7.27 states, Ichha Dvesha Samuthena. Two kinds of propensities arise in the living entity. One propensity is Ichha, which means desire to lord it over material nature, or to be as great as the Supreme Lord. Everyone desires to be the greatest personality in this material world. Dvesha means envy. When one becomes envious of Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one thinks, why should Krishna be the all and all? I am as good as Krishna. These two items, desire to be the Lord and envy of the Lord, are the beginning cause of material bondage. As long as a philosopher, salvationist, or voidist has some desire to be supreme, to be everything, or to deny the existence of God, the cause remains and there is no question of his liberation. Devahuti very intelligently says, one may theoretically analyze and say that by knowledge he has become freed, but actually, as long as the cause exists, he is not free. Bhagavad Gita confirms that after performing such speculative activities for many, many births, when one actually comes to his real consciousness and surrenders unto the Supreme Lord Krishna, then the fulfillment of his research and knowledge is actually achieved. There is a gulf of difference between theoretical freedom and actual freedom from material bondage. The Bhagavatam says that if one gives up the auspicious path of devotional service and simply tries to know things by speculation, one wastes his valuable time. Klishyanti ye kevala bodha labdhaye. The result of such a labor of love is simply labor. There is no other result. The labor of speculation is ended only by exhaustion. The example is given that there is no benefit in husking the skin of an empty paddy. The rice is already gone. Similarly, simply by the speculative process, one cannot be freed from material bondage. For the cause still exists, one has to nullify the cause and then the effect will be nullified. This is explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the following verses. Prabhupada ki jai. Om ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam today morning. So, if you know the background of this verse, it's actually Devahuti Mata. She is actually putting forward some questions to her son, Kapil Dev. In the previous chapter, which is the 26th chapter, Kapil Dev is actually explaining the processes of Sankhya philosophy. How from Pradhan various elements have come forth and how this entire creation has taken place. And now in this chapter, Kapila Muni, he is trying to explain how a Sankhya yogi or a Jnana yogi can achieve liberation and what is the sadhana he has to do to get this liberation. And while he is speaking, midway, Mother Devahuti, she asks these questions. So I think the previous verses were discussed before, from 17th to 20th. So does anyone know or remember the context or the question which Devahuti mother puts forward? If you have attended the previous Bhagavatam sessions, you must be knowing that what is the question which Mother Devahuti is asking Kapila Muni here. Hare Krishna. Do we have an answer, or should I tell it is? Yeah, Mother Devahuti is very intrigued and she's very inquisitive to know how the Atma can get liberated from Prakriti. Because she gives the example, two examples here, that how can the earth leave out its aroma and how can water leave out its taste. So giving these two examples, Mother Devahuti, she says that the Atma is also so much intertwined with Prakriti, so much in connection with Prakriti. How can the Atma leave Prakriti aside and get liberation? So this is her question. And in this verse, she continues the question and says, just by mental speculation or analysis, I don't believe or I don't understand how the fear of bondage can go away. So this is what her question is. Right? Is the question clear? Hare Krishna. Can anyone repeat the question? Hare Krishna, are you all listening? Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, the question Mother Devotee asked was the innate, the nature of earth cannot be separated from the aroma.
Hare Bol, yes,
So
Prabhuji.
that was one thing. So
Yes.
how can Atma be freed from material nature's effect like that?
Yeah, in this verse, she is specifically saying that how can the Atma be freed from bondage in spite of mental speculation or any analysis. Yeah, because temporarily it may be freed, but how can it permanently get freed? So this is what the question is. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. So, this question is very pertinent and very beautiful question. And what Mother Devotee is saying is absolutely right. The Atma cannot be freed from the clutches of Prakriti. It is so much intertwined, and the Jiva is enjoying Prakriti so much that it is like almost impossible for Jiva to separate from Prakriti. So there is one example which we have heard in devotional circles, like how a hunter catches a monkey. Yeah, so you must be knowing how a hunter catches a monkey. So what he does is, while the monkey is observing the hunter, he bores a hole in a pile of mud. He bores a hole, a deeper hole, and in that he places some groundnuts or peanuts inside, while the monkey is watching. And as soon as he has done that, the hunter leaves the place. And when the hunter is not around, the monkey immediately goes to the place, and it is very curious to know what the person has put inside the hole. And the monkey puts its hand inside the hole, and it finds peanuts there, it finds groundnuts there, and tries to grab all of them together. But in the process, the hunter was very clever. What he would have done is, he would have kept the hole to such a size that the hand of the monkey can go inside. But if the hand is full of peanuts, the hand cannot come out. Yeah, so this is how the monkey, it tries to grab all of the groundnuts and tries to take out its hand. In the meanwhile, the hunter, who is watching from a distance, he immediately comes and grabs the monkey. And now the monkey is in the hold of the hunter, but still the interesting thing is it does not leave the groundnuts. Yeah, so this is how we are also trapped in the clutches of Prakriti, that we know, we understand to some extent probably, because of the curtain of Maya, we may not understand completely, but this sense enjoyment gets us trapped in Prakriti. Yeah. So this is the relationship between the Jiva and Prakriti, that the Jiva since times immemorial is trying to enjoy Prakriti, and in that process it gets trapped. So now Devahuti Mata is also talking about bondage. So now, we have heard that in the human life, we exercise free will, right? So is it true or not? And first is, do animals exercise free will? That is the first question. Hare Krishna. Can we have some other devotees answering, please?
Prabhuji, largely the animals cannot exercise their free will. They are highly conditioned beyond a degree. So typically, unless they are Gajendra or like some special, otherwise they cannot exercise.
Oh, very nice, Prabhuji. Yeah, we are getting a different answer also in the comments. Swati Mataji is saying that everyone can exercise free will. Okay. So what about humans? Can humans exercise free will?
To the degree they are in Satoguna, like Tamoguna, if the predominance is of Tamoguna, then their free will exercise will also be affected that much and in that way.
Haribol, very beautifully said, Prabhuji, very beautifully said. So many people, they actually feel that in human life, they can exercise free will, but it is not always the case. To understand this, we can imagine that early in the morning, while going to office, yeah, you come across a sweetmeat shop. Yeah, you come across a sweetmeat shop, and today you decide, okay, today I shall have gulab jamun from the shop. Of course, devotees are not allowed to accept anything from any store, but just for the sake of argument, we are just discussing that you desire to eat gulab jamun this particular day. So this is the first day. On the second day, you desire to eat a samosa. Yeah. And on the third day, yeah, you desire to take tea. Okay. So now on these 3 days, has the human exercised his free will or not? On each of these 3 days, has the human exercised his free will or not? Okay, I'm getting an answer which is yes. Any other different answers?
It's an yes, Prabhuji. He has exercised. The very desire itself is an exercise, Prabhuji.
Most are saying yes. I'm expecting a different answer and the reason for it also. Okay. Actually speaking, on the first day...
Prabhuji,
Yes,
sorry to interrupt. Prabhuji,
yes,
by misuse of the free will, then again it gets affected, subsequently gets into a loop then. If misuse, then more effect of that type of karma and then further and further.
Okay, so now in this case, has the person misused his free will, or he has misused his free will before and he has caught in this cycle, and is it the cycle that is going on now? So here, yes, Mataji, Kalyani Mataji, you want to say something?
I think so. Even having the desire to eat those products is exercising your free will.
Okay, wow. Rightly said to some extent. Yeah, Krishna gives this verse in this Bhagavad Gita. He says, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahamkara vimodhatma kartaham iti manyate. So, say on the first day, the person desired to eat gulab jamun. So the person thinks, I have exercised my free will and I have eaten this gulab jamun. But it is actually no. The mode of goodness has put a covering on the consciousness of the person and kind of force the person to make that choice to eat the gulab jamun. Say, I'm saying sattva guna because sweets are supposed to be in the mode of sattva. I mean, it can be taken in another sense also, because this activity is in the mode of enjoyment, so it can be called as a rajoguna activity also. But just for the sake of argument, I'm saying. And on the second day, Rajoguna takes over and he feels, okay, today let me have something spicy. Yes, let me have something spicy to taste. And he tries to eat samosa on that day. And on the third day, he feels, okay, let me taste some tea. And tea being an intoxicant, it should be in the mode of tamoguna. Yeah, although the substances are in those modes. So the person is thinking that actually he's exercising his free will, but what is happening here is that the covering of the 3 modes, they are helplessly dragging the person from one desire to another. The human is also like an animal, is not able to exercise his free will at all. So when is the point where the human begins to exercise the free will? Because we
When
have
he's free
also
from
heard,
ignorance.
yeah, we have also heard that in only the human body can a person exercise free will. So that is also true. So there is nothing challenging that. But in these cases where a person is trying to enjoy his senses, he is getting overpowered by the three modes of material nature, and they are helplessly dragging the soul in making the soul enjoy Prakriti. Yeah. Yes, Mataji, you are saying something.
Prabhuji, this minimum amount of enjoyment at least is not, I think it's not, I don't know, we should, it's like eating, you're taking some nutrition, that's all. Suppose you make a samosa or dal rice, what is the difference between the two?
Yes, Mataji. The difference is in the consciousness, Mataji. Like all the jivatmas who are trapped in this material world, they are illusioned into trying to enjoy matter, right? But it has become so much part of our consciousness that we think it is normal. But because of this is what creates a bondage. Like for example, if you have tasted a gulab jamun previously, it creates such an impression on our mind. Next time it creates a desire, a further desire to eat gulab jamun. So this is what sense gratification does to us, that once the sense and the sense object come in contact with each other, it creates further desire. So although it may seem very innocuous that what is the harm in enjoying a gulab jamun, but the dynamics are not so simple. Yeah, how the dynamics are working, how the soul is being dragged by Prakriti is...
No, so it may not be dragged. I may not be, I'm not dying for it. It because it's available, I'm going to eat it.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
I'm not leaving my work and going and hunting and leaving everything and going in for a gulab jamun, no?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, this is one example, but there are some desires which overpower us. Don't we agree to that?
Yeah, and we are not allowing them to overpower us.
Yeah, if so that is my point. So at what
Like watching
point...
news on TV is, I think, in the current situation that we are in, we can read a newspaper. We can, if all those are also considered as, Maya is, we are trapped in Maya, then we should be living in a forest.
Yes, Mataji, that is one understanding for sure. Okay, so the examples which I presented were very simplistic. So what you are saying is right. We may not be so much after sense gratification that we are craving for a gulab jamun. Yes, what you are saying is right. But at the same time, if we are craving for some sense gratification, right? In case if yes, so may not be for gulab jamun or may not be for something which is like prohibited as tea, but there might be some cravings even for us practitioners. Don't we agree to that, Mataji? May not be in food or may not be in something else, but we still have desires, right? Material desires.
Yes, we do have desires.
Yeah,
That's why we
we
are
still
there.
retain material desire. Yeah, that is why we are in the material world. We continue to stay in the material world, yes, because we retain these material desires. So what is actually, at what point a soul is ready to exercise his free will is only when he receives blessings from his guru. Yeah. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. So at the point where the guru kind of implants the seed of bhakti, so at that time the soul actually begins to exercise. I am not saying completely exercises, begins to exercise his free will, because when he hears from the guru, his ajnana gets destroyed gradually. So when the ajnana is getting destroyed and the spiritual knowledge gets awakened in the heart. So at that time, the soul is actually beginning to exercise his free will. So now, we have come to this point where by pleasing the Guru, the soul begins to exercise its free will. So now what is the method for pleasing the Guru? Or when does the Bhakti Lata Beej gets sowed in the heart of a devotee? When is that process? Yeah, for some, they may say at the time of initiation, at the time of Diksha, one can say that I get the Guru Lata Beej. Yeah, I mean Bhakti Lata Beej. But Prabhupada ji waited for 11 years to accept Diksha. So now the question is, did Prabhupada not receive Bhakti Lata Beej when he met Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur the first time?
He did receive that beach. He was totally influenced, and he did influenced, and he wanted to go in that direction.
Yeah. So what exactly is Guru Ka Prasad? Yeah. So once my spiritual master, he was giving a talk, and in that talk, he was narrating one incident which happened with him before. Yeah. So in that incident, a mother brings her child to my spiritual master and says, "Isko Ashirwad dijiye." Yeah. And my spiritual master simply smiled. Yeah, he does not understand Hindi. Yeah. So he simply smiled, and then the mother insisted, "Isko Ashirwad dijiye." So then the devotees surrounding my spiritual master, they said that probably, I mean, they are asking you to give blessings to the child. Yeah, give blessings to the child. So in India, what we consider is, what do we consider as blessing? Yeah, if a sadhu, say for example, touches our head, yeah, generally it is understood like that. Yeah, if a sadhu touches my head, it is blessing. So my spiritual master, he said, no, that is not blessings. That is just a ritual. That is just a ritual. So receiving blessings from the spiritual master means doing some great service in such a way that you naturally attract spontaneous goodwill and prayers from the heart of the spiritual master. Yeah, so this is what the Ashirwad or blessings mean, and not just a physical ritual. Yeah, so many people, we know that the three most potent things in bhakti is like Charan Raj, and then Charanamrita and Mahaprasad, right? We know these are the three most potent things, but we have had gallons and gallons of Charanamrita. We have had tons and tons of Mahaprasadam, and we have put tons and tons of dust on our head also. Has anything changed? So, of course, I am not wanting to belittle the potency of these things, but it also depends on the follower. It just not depends on the Guru alone. Yeah, it does not depend on the ritual also. It does not depend on the ritual. Like it is like if a diamond is given to a monkey, right? If a diamond is given to a monkey, does the monkey know the value of the diamond? Yeah. So Charana Raja and Charanamrita and Mahaprasad, they are the topmost potent things in this material world. But we also should know how to reciprocate, how to accept the blessings. Otherwise, it may not have any effect, or it may have very minimal effect. Yeah. So what is Guru Ka Prasad? How to please the Guru? Yeah. Anyone wants to answer, please? Like there may be some devotees, right? Hare Krishna, very nice, Mataji. Thank you. By inquiring questions submissively, yeah, by serving the Guru humbly, the Guru reveals hidden knowledge. Yes, very beautifully answered. But there may be, say, some disciples, right? When the Guru is out of town, yeah, so they may not show even their face to the devotees. But when the Guru is in town, they will be there in the first line to show their face, to show to the Guru that, okay, I am doing devotional service. Yeah, this is nothing but a ritualistic or a show bottle kind of devotional service. So Guru is not going to be pleased by that at all. A Guru will be pleased when the fellow Vaishnavas are pleased. Yeah, if we serve the authority, if the local authority, if we serve the local mission properly, and if the local authority introduces us to the Guru and says, such and such person is serving, and then it spontaneously attracts the blessings of the Guru. So this is how the Guru can be pleased, but not by any other ritual. Yeah. So once Srila Prabhupada, once one disciple went and complained to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I am your disciple and I have the right only to listen to you. Why should I listen to the local authority? Why should I listen to the temple president? He is not my Guru, you are my Guru. So Prabhupada said, but I have appointed him as the temple president. Yeah. So giving respect to him is the way you show respect to me. So we cannot jump over and directly access the Guru. The way we please the Guru is by pleasing Vaishnavas around us. We know one instance about Sripad Ramanujacharya. So he was about to go to a village where there were two disciples of his. Yeah, one disciple was very rich and wealthy. You must be knowing this katha already. So just trying to repeat this. Yeah. So one disciple, his name was Yaggesh. He was very wealthy. And Ramanujacharya at that time, he had 50 disciples with him. And he sent two of his brahmachari disciples ahead. And he said, you go and tell Yaggesh that tomorrow morning we are coming for lunch prasad. And these two brahmachari disciples, they went and told Yaggesh that tomorrow Guru Maharaj is coming to your place for having lunch prasadam. Imagine if we are told, yeah, tomorrow Guru Maharaj is coming to your place for lunch prasadam. Imagine the elation. Yeah, so Yaggesh was also going through the same kind of emotions. So much he was elated. Immediately he ran away from the place and started making all arrangements. And these two disciples, they came back and told Ramanujacharya what happened. Yeah? So Ramanujacharya asked, his elation aside, did he give proper Atithi Satkar to you? Did he offer you a proper place to sit or rest? Or did he offer you some water at least? Yeah, the disciples hesitatingly said, no, probably he was so busy that he did not have the time to consider us. So Ramanujacharya said, then we'll not be going to his place. Yeah, we'll go to another disciple of mine. His name is Varadachari. He is quite poor. He daily what Varadachari used to do was he used to go door to door, beg for raw bhoga, raw rice and all, and he would get it home, and his wife Lakshmi would cook it for him. Cook it, then offer it as bhoga, and then they would consume it as prasada. So next day, Ramanujacharya, along with his 50 disciples, they directly went into Varadachari's place without announcing. And at that time, Varadachari was not there at his home. He had gone for bhiksha, collecting bhiksha. And there was only Lakshmi at home. And Lakshmi, she knew, she wanted to serve prasadam, but she did not have a single grain in the house. But she said, somehow or the other, I need to serve my Guru. So she said, Guru Maharaj, can you and your disciples take some rest for some time? In the meanwhile, I can cook a good feast for you. So Ramanujacharya agreed. So Lakshmi, she did not know from where she is going to get items for cooking bhoga. But she got one plan, she got one idea that there was a local merchant in the same lane of their house who had an evil eye on her, yeah, who always was trying to enjoy her. But all this time, she was only ignoring his advances. She never paid any heed to his advances. But today she thought only he has the capacity to fulfill all my needs here so that I can cook a nice prasadam for my spiritual master. So she goes and approaches the merchant and says, tonight I'll come and stay at your place, but you need to give me this entire grocery list. And the merchant became very ecstatic. He said, okay. What all you want, I am ready to give, and I'm ready to give you something more also. Yeah, if you're ready to stay with me this night. And she, Lakshmi, she takes all the grocery items, goes back to her home. She cooks a mega Chappan Bhoga feast and serves the spiritual master. And in the meanwhile, Varadachari also returns, her husband, and he gets, perplexed. How is it possible that my wife can cook such a mega feast for 50 people? Yeah, it is not at all possible. So first of all, he is so happy seeing his Guru Maharaj, he pays Dandavats, and then he goes to his wife. You tell me, how did you get all these arrangements done? So she reveals everything, and here husband becomes proud of his wife. He says, in order to serve, like for a woman, nothing comes above her chastity. But for serving your Guru, you are ready to sacrifice your chastity for this. So you are really very, what you can say, very gifted. Yeah, you are a very gifted disciple of our Guru Maharaj. In the meanwhile, Ramanujacharya also understands. He goes and asks Lakshmi and Varadachari both, I know about Varadachari, how he brings bhiksha daily, and only then you are able to cook. And today, how come you are able to give a Chappan Bhoga feast? So Lakshmi had to admit everything to her spiritual master. So at that time, Ramanujacharya, what he does is, he does a very miraculous thing. He takes a bite of prasadam and tells Varadachari, you consume this Mahaprasadam first, and then give it to your wife. Let your wife take a part of this Mahaprasadam. And then tonight, when she's about to go to the merchant, let her carry this Mahaprasadam and feed the merchant the Mahaprasadam. So the same night, when Lakshmi goes and meets this merchant to satisfy his demands, so at that time she says, anyways, you're going to enjoy me. Before this, why don't you enjoy this Mahaprasadam before? Yeah, and the merchant, he does not suspect anything, and he takes the Mahaprasadam, and immediately he bursts into all Ashtasattvika Bhava. All tears starts coming from his eyes. He perspires so much, and he says, what have you given me? First, he falls at the feet of Lakshmi and says, please pardon me for all my offenses. I didn't know why I committed such offenses, but what have you fed me? I want to know. So Lakshmi and Varadachari, they take the merchant to their spiritual master and said, what you have consumed is the Mahaprasad of my spiritual master, because of which you have become purified now. And then he falls at the feet of Ramanujacharya, and Ramanujacharya accepts him as his disciple. So this is a very beautiful story. So what did we learn from here is, in the first case where Yagyesh, where Ramanujacharya was about to visit Yagyesh, at that time Yagyesh did not consider serving the Vaishnavas. He was only focused on serving the Guru. So which did not please the Guru at all. So this is the secret of pleasing the Guru, is that by serving the Vaishnavas. Okay, so now the question is, what if our senior does not follow, right? Should we still follow them, or should we start revolting? Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, thank you. Okay, can someone try to respond?
We should not follow. We should not fight.
Oh, very nice, Mataji. We should not fight. Yes, correct. Because even if our senior does not follow, we should understand it is between him and Krishna. And I have no jurisdiction in that relationship. But whatever services I receive from the senior, it is again Krishna giving me that service. So by responding to the given services by our seniors and following it diligently, we attract the blessings of Krishna. So we should be least concerned whether our seniors follow or not. Of course, if they deviate too much, so we have the right to not be in the association. But we don't have the right to criticize, or we don't have the right to call them ill names, or go about telling everyone that, okay, my senior is such and such. Yeah. So that is none of our business. Yes. Thank you, Antaji. Thank you for answering. Yes. Okay. So now, okay, what the Jivatma is doing with Prakriti, with Maya Devi, is that it's like a game of a football. Right. So all of you must be knowing football, right? So what happens is one side kicks the ball on the other side and tries to score goal, and the other side tries to do the same thing. What if one side does not play at all? What will the other side do?
They will win.
Yes, Mataji?
They will win, Prabhuji.
They will also leave. Yes, Mataji, right. So the thing that keeps both the parties engaged is that both are equally engaged in playing. So the same thing, kind of same thing happens with the Jivatma and Maya. We are also trying to play football with Maya Devi. So the way to get out of Maya is to stop this gameplay at all. So now what is this gameplay? This gameplay is nothing but trying to satisfy each of our material desires. The more and more we satisfy our material desires, it is like engaging in a very strong football game with Maya Devi. And who do you think will win this game eventually? Of course, it is Maya Devi who is going to win. Till the end, she will give a picture that I will win, but it is never going to happen. Maya Devi is going to win this battle, right? And what is this game of football? It is the game of trying to satisfy our desires, So our desires are like dolphins coming to the ocean surface, right? You see 2 or 3 dolphins coming in a group on the ocean surface, but how many dolphins does the ocean have? Right? It's not 2 or 3. Yeah, they are in millions. They're in millions. So our desires also come to the surface at certain point of time, and it gives us an illusion thinking that if I satisfy this desire, this one desire, and I'll be happy henceforth. That is the illusion of Maya, and this keeps us trapped. This is that football game which you are playing with Maya Devi, and one desire we satisfy, and we think, okay, now I won't have to deal with other desires, and next moment comes the other desire, and unknowing to us, we are hardwired to satisfy our desires. Yeah. So this is the game that we are playing with Prakriti, trying to enjoy Prakriti. The Jivatma is trying to enjoy Prakriti, but it is not possible. Okay, so now someone can say, अभी इच्छाओं पे कैसे कंट्रोल पाया जाए? How to control my desires? Yeah, unless I control my mind, how can I control my desires? Some may ask. But is controlling the mind easy? Arjuna has given up. He says, Chanchalam hi manak Krishna pramathi balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayur iva sudushkaram. He says, you ask me to control the wind, I can do that. But you are asking me to control the mind. Mind is obstinate. Yeah, mind is so balavan. Bala, dridham, it is obstinate. And pramathi, both adiyal hai. How can I control the mind? Arjuna has given up. But how can we control our mind? Yeah. So mind is like a huge mountain. Yeah. If 10 bodybuilders come and try to push a mountain, yeah, is the mountain going to move an inch? Not even an inch, not even a centimeter, not even a millimeter. Yeah. Yeah. Hare Krishna, thank you by chanting. Yes. So how can we try to control the mind? Yes, by chanting. But the thing is, instead of trying to control the mind, we should try to focus on how we are engaging our time and money. Every moment, how do we spend? Whether my mind cooperates with me or not, forcibly I engage the senses and the mind in the activities of Krishna consciousness. So how do I spend my time? Yeah, so generally they say that my 2 hours of japa, they dictate the 22 hours of my day. How my japa is, they are going to dictate the 22 hours of the day, and my 22 hours of the previous day dictate my 2 hours of japa today. Yeah. So how we are engaging our time? If we have engaged our time in material activities only and not actively try to focus on, try to be Krishna conscious that day, we know what can happen during our chanting the next day, right? So what at the max we can do is forcibly try to engage our time and engage our money. Yeah, so these are the only 2 resources, or probably we can have more, but which are probably in our control. Yeah, so whatever we can actively try to engage our time in Krishna conscious activities, that much will be helpful. Okay, so yeah, so when we do that, we know Krishna can lift the Govardhan hill. So we are discussing that mind is like a huge mountain. We cannot move the mountain, but Krishna, how did he move the mountain? Yeah, from the little pinky finger of his left hand, he can lift the Govardhan hill. So he will help us to achieve control of our mind. We cannot do it on our own. Okay, so now a question arises. Does practicing bhakti alone is sufficient for our progress? Yes, no, or any different answers do you have? Does practicing bhakti, like say chanting or reading or hearing, alone is sufficient? Yes, Swati Mata is saying yes. Okay, so now we have been chanting since many years, right? I mean, I'm trying to be true to myself. I have not progressed much in bhakti. Why is that so?
No, Prabhuji. We
Yes,
have to do our prescribed duties, no?
yes, Mataji. Yes, we have to do prescribed duties. Kapila
With
Muni,
utmost
yeah, Kapila Muni.
devotion and dedication.
Yes, Kapila Muni in the next, I mean, 2 chapters ahead, he's going to explain bhakti is also in different modes. Now, we have heard that bhakti is transcendental. How can bhakti be in modes? How is bhakti in 3 modes? We know bhakti is transcendental. How is bhakti in 3 modes?
Prabhuji, is it right? Jnana Mishnama Bhakti, Karma Mishnama Bhakti.
Yes. Perfect, Mataji. So it depends on the follower, how he is practicing bhakti, how he or she is practicing bhakti. So bhakti by itself is transcendental, but if the follower is not tuned to the pure devotional service method, the bhakti is brought down to different modes, right? Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 29th chapter, it says that bhakti can be in tamoguna, bhakti can be in rajoguna, bhakti can be in sattva-guna, and then there can be Shuddha Bhakti. Now, what is bhakti in tamoguna? If bhakti is practiced by a person who is envious, who is proud, who is violent, who is angry, and who is a separatist, is to be considered in the mode of darkness. Yeah. So now, who is a separatist? Yeah. So Krishna is not talking about Kashmiri separatists here. What Krishna is saying is one who has a desire separate from that of Krishna is a separatist. Yeah. So one who has a desire separate from that of Krishna and who is envious, proud, violent, and angry, in that mode, if one is practicing bhakti, he is practicing bhakti in tamoguna. So now who is a devotee who is practicing in rajoguna? One who is doing, again, he is also a separatist. One who is practicing bhakti with a motive for material enjoyment, fame, and opulence is said to be practicing devotion in the mode of passion. So now who is practicing in the mode of sattva guna? One who offers the results of his activities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in order to free himself from the clutches of fruitive activities. Yeah, he is performing devotion in the mode of goodness. Now, what is pure devotional service? One who is spontaneously attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like the water of Ganges flows to the ocean, uninterrupted by any material condition. Such a practice of devotional service is called bhakti, in which is above the three modes. So now how this can be attained? This can be attained only from Shravanam, from a realized spiritual master. Yeah, and that destroys the ignorance in the heart, and gradually a devotee who can be in tamoguna, he can rise to say rajoguna and sattoguna, and then eventually he can rise to the transcendental platform. Okay, so we'll summarize what we discussed today. So Devavati mother, she's asking this question, that how the soul can escape from the clutches of Prakriti. The soul and Prakriti, they are so much intertwined. Just by mental speculation and analysis, I don't believe that it can get freed from Prakriti. So this is her question. And we saw how we are also bound to Prakriti. We saw the example of the monkey trying to hold the groundnuts. In spite of the hunter catching the monkey, it is not ready to leave the groundnuts. So we are also in the jaws of death. We are also dying every moment. We are in the jaws of Maya, but still we are bogged down by so many material desires. So then we also discussed whether we are exercising our free will or not. Yeah. So does anyone want to comment on that? Yeah. So we discussed that, of course, animals cannot exercise their free will, but humans also, in their ordinary state, cannot exercise their free will. Yeah, they are also in the clutches of the three modes. Unless the soul receives the blessings of the spiritual master, the soul cannot exercise its free will. The human soul in human body also cannot exercise its free will. Yeah. To support that, we discussed this verse from Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti Kriyamanani, Gunai Karmani Sarvashaha. Krishna is using the word Sarvashaha. He says all activities are being carried out by Prakriti. Like, say, if I have to move this hand, I feel I am moving this hand, right? But it is not so. I only can desire to move the hand, and Mother Prakriti sees my credits, yeah, my bank balance of punya. And if I have the punya to lift my hand, then Prakriti does it for me. On the other hand, say if I suffer from paralysis, if my right side gets paralyzed, right? So at that time, even if I desire to lift my hand, I cannot lift my hand. So now who is acting? Earlier I felt that I am moving my hand, but now who is acting? If I was acting, I should have been able to move my hand even now. But now what Prakriti does, Prakriti again checks my bank balance of punya. It sees I do not have the punya to lift my right hand, and it does not provide me the facility to lift my right hand. So Prakriti is doing everything. The Jivatma is simply desiring. The Jivatma is put into an illusion of enjoyment. So every moment the Jivatma is looking where I can enjoy, where I can enjoy. And Prakriti is simply providing for the enjoyment of the Jivatma. Yeah. So how do I rise above the modes? We discussed by trying to please the Guru. I can, by hearing from the Guru, I can rise above the modes, and by pleasing the Guru. So how the Guru gets pleased? The Guru does not get pleased by any ritualistic practices, and not by accepting the hand of the Guru on the head. Yeah. So not by any, there is no mechanical means to go back home, back to Godhead. Right. So there are no shortcuts. So how the Guru gets pleased? If we are sincerely serving Vaishnavas, if you are sincerely serving the movement, if you are sincerely serving our seniors, so then the Guru gets pleased. So we saw the Katha of Ramanujacharya, where Ramanujacharya, he wants to go to his richer disciple first, and then how the richer disciple does not honor the servants of Ramanujacharya, and Ramanujacharya disagrees. He does not go to that place and instead goes to a poorer disciple who is well cultured and who knows the etiquette, who knows Vaishnava etiquette. Yeah. So then we also discussed what to do if our seniors do not follow, right? So we need not revolt against them. Yeah, it's just a matter of time, right? So everyone is tossed up in this material world like the waves of the ocean. Sometimes we go up, sometimes we go down. So sometimes we may be practicing very nice bhakti and may feel pity on others. Okay, why such and such soul is not practicing? But there is no need to feel pity on them. Yeah. So probably we are on the crest now. Our trough will come some other time. Yeah. So it's just a matter of time. So say if our seniors do not follow us, whatever, but we have to be fixed up in our devotional service, because this is Krishna given service. Whatever service we have, we get is Krishna given service. And by following the seniors, we learn to follow Trinadapi Swinichena principle, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us. Yeah, we try to become humbler than the blade of the grass. Right? And then we also discussed, let us leave Maya Devi alone. There is no need to play football with her. And what is playing football with her is trying to satisfy our desires. Yeah, Maya Devi throws one desire after another at us, and we try to satisfy each and every desire and engaging in this game with Maya Devi. Yeah, so they are our desires are like dolphins in the ocean. So one or two come up, but it's not that the ocean has only one or two dolphins. There are many more waiting. Yeah. How to control the desires? By controlling the mind. We cannot control the mind on our own, but what we can try to do is we can engage our time and money in the service of Krishna, and Krishna helps us to control our mind. And then finally we discussed, is bhakti alone sufficient? No, bhakti alone is not sufficient. Bhakti in the right spirit, in its purest form, is needed. And for that, we need the purest association also. Very pure. So we need to be little stingy and very careful in whom we associate with. We have to be extremely careful. Not all association is good. Not all association is good. Okay, here I would like to end. Is there any questions or comments? If I went wrong somewhere, please don't hesitate to correct me. Krishna, Kalani Mataji, Swati Mataji, Mataji, Nityanand Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the super class today.
Any comments?
Any questions? Dear devotees, please ask.
If I do not know, I will ask my seniors and let you know.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The class was stupendous. It was very nice, very simple, very slow and steady, and hitting the target, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your blessings, Mataji. If there are no questions, we'll end here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, devotees.
Thank you, Prabhu, and thank you, dear devotees. We will see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.